So today we'll be getting into some stories with Margot Robbie, John Cena, and Charlotte Flair's title reigns. For today's question of the day, do you think WWE should let Charlotte Flair have a real title reign instead of constant stat padding short ones? Let us know what you think, because we'll be diving into that later on. Let's start things off with this pretty bizarre story between Margot Robbie and John Cena. John Cena and Margot Robbie are just two of the big names from the loaded cast from DC's upcoming supervillain film. Margot Robbie has been as the face of Harley Quinn since 2016, and John Cena is bringing his character PeaceMaker to life for the first time with this film. John Cena also has a PeaceMaker HBO series that he's been working on over the last year and a half. It's one of the main projects that kept him out of the WWE as well. But Margot and Cena were recently a guest on Jimmy Kimmel to promote the film, and they started off with a pretty crazy story. Margot Robbie told a story of how she had a boyfriend during her early 20s that was obsessed with John Cena. This boyfriend even dressed up as John Cena for his 21st birthday and had a life-size cutout poster of John Cena in his room. A 6-foot life-size poster. The life-size poster became a huge issue for Margot because she would end up sleeping in this room right next to this John Cena life-size cutout for 2 years. She talked about how she would always open her eyes during the night and get scared to see this person standing over her, but then realized it was just the life-size John Cena. She talked about how she vowed to keep that story to herself, but it ended up being the very first thing she told John Cena when they first met for this film. And to keep their joke going, the cast of Jimmy Kimmel gave John Cena a life-size cutout of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn for him to keep. They joked about how Cena has to sleep with that Margot Robbie cutout in his bedroom for 2 years to balance everything out. So, just a pretty funny and ridiculous story on how Margot Robbie went from sleeping next to this John Cena poster for a handful of years to working alongside him in this big DC film. John Cena has done hundreds of movies and other projects, but this will be his debut in the DC universe, and then the TV show on his character will come shortly after the film. Not only Cena, but The Rock is also filming his DC Universe debut right now with the Black Adam movie that's in production. So, just a lot of WWE superstars that are starting to break into the Marvel and DC universe, which is great because they're used to playing these bigger-than-life guys and bad guys in WWE. So, they just fit right into these superhero and supervillain movies. There was even a report back in 2019 that Marvel even had their eyes on Becky Lynch as well. So, you just never know what might happen. But it looks like more and more superstars will be coming to the Marvel and DC universes. As far as everything with John Cena goes, he's back full-time with WWE for at least the entirety of the summer. WWE and Fox are labeling it as the Summer of Cena. So, just another indication that Cena will be around every week for the remainder of summer, up until SummerSlam most likely. Cena is even advertised for some live event house shows, and who knows, maybe he will continue to keep bouncing back and forth between Raw and SmackDown as well. But as everyone knows, this return right here will be focused on SmackDown because of him targeting Roman Reigns. He said that he's had enough and that someone has to step up to bring Roman Reigns back down. That's where he steps in. That's what he's going to try to do. So that will be Roman Reigns and John Cena's story for the next several weeks here. The program is starting early, so we should have weeks of amazing build-up leading up to this big clash between Cena and Reigns at the main event of SummerSlam. So it's going to be a great summer for John Cena in WWE. And this entire feud with Roman Reigns will be the focus of his return. So be on the lookout for that. Let's get into this confusing Charlotte Flair situation. The way WWE counted Charlotte's titles has been changing a lot recently. Sometimes WWE would call her a 12-time champion. Other times they referred to her as a 13-time champion. All of that includes her Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and even tag team titles. But WWE has changed something there. The tag team titles and the 2 NXT title reigns no longer count towards Charlotte's total title count. So instead of being looked at as a 14-time champion right now, she's only acknowledged as an 11-time champion now. We know that because Charlotte called herself an 11-time champion on Raw. This also started up some discussion amongst the fans because this basically means that NXT titles are not acknowledged by WWE as world titles. Maybe back when it was looked at as a development brand, that would have been okay, but we hear all the time that now NXT is supposed to be the third brand for WWE. So why aren't their titles acknowledged as world championships like Raw and SmackDown? It's very weird. You would think that they would count it as world championships just to show that NXT truly is a main brand. But the fact that winning titles there doesn't count towards your career achievements does make it seem like NXT is just taking a backseat to Raw and SmackDown rather than being on the same level as them. So Charlotte has now lost her 2 NXT title reigns when it comes to her total stats, bringing her back down to 11. One of the issues that Charlotte herself has addressed is that you think of Charlotte Flair, you think of championships, you think of gold, but the reality is that Charlotte hasn't had a real length quality title reign, probably since the beginning of her career. 2016, she had a 29-day reign. 2018, 27-day reign. 2019, she had a 19-day reign. Then again in 2019, a 4-day reign. In 2019 again, she had a 4-minute reign. And we just saw her have a 1-day reign this week. Charlotte has only had one 200-plus day reign, and it was her first NXT championship. So it's just something to think about. Everyone associates Charlotte with championship gold, but we're still kind of waiting for her to have that one long, lengthy, and memorable reign. We're still waiting on that. Charlotte mentioned this a few months back, how everyone complains about her being in the title picture, but she really hasn't had a real title reign in years. And it's true when you really dive into it like this. So what's the point of all these extremely short reigns? Fans speculate that maybe WWE is just stat padding Charlotte's total reign in order for her to reach her father's record of 16 world titles. Cena is tied with Ric Flair, but obviously doesn't seem like he will be breaking the record anytime soon. It appears that the record is being saved for Charlotte herself. So she's at 11 right now, but still has a way to go. She needs 6 more title reigns to fully break the record. So chances are that we'll see a couple of more short title reigns in the future just to boost that faster. Maybe she even wins the title back from Nikki Ash, and now she's at 12. So we just have to see what they plan to do there, but the constant short reigns are just weird, and maybe it's just what they have to do to get her to 16 or 17. You see Becky Lynch, she has way less title reigns than Charlotte, but Becky does have a near 400-day title reign under her belt, and that really was a career-defining reign. So maybe Charlotte's 16th or 17th title win will be a memorable reign. But until then, who knows for sure. Maybe we'll keep seeing these stat-padded short title reigns. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Margot Robbie, John Cena, and Charlotte Flair? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.